I'm Marlene Hutchinson, and welcome to Tips for Guitar Playing Success. As many of you know, I've been sharing my guitar playing tips every Thursday for more than 10 years. It's been my way to hopefully help you stay motivated, be inspired, and continue expanding your guitar playing journey. If you're interested in more learning resources, go to my website, marlenesmusic.com. And for anyone who's listening and feeling like you're missing out on all the guitar playing fun, you can easily get started with my super simple Learn to Play Guitar in a Day course. Now, on to today's tip. This podcast is brought to you in part by Gator. Whether you just need a bag to gig with on the weekends, or a frequent flyer needing a flight-friendly TSA Series case, or a dedicated road warrior bringing your instruments on tour, Gator has a solution for you. For the stuff you love, guard it with Gator. Today's tip is, got guitar practice excuses? Examine what's behind them. We all know that practicing makes us better guitar players. So why do some people avoid practicing or make excuses why they can't or won't play? In this episode, we're going to look at some of the most common practice excuses and how to overcome the reason behind the excuse, so you'll want to play your guitar. As always, I love to give a shout out to my listeners around the world. So this week, hello and thank you to those of you listening in the Philippines, Puerto Rico, the Czech Republic, Sweden, and Mozambique. There are a few common practice excuses, basically reasons not to practice, and I suspect at one point or another some of these common excuses may have crossed your lips. But don't fret, it happens. So let's examine things. Let's see what's really going on. Why aren't you practicing more if you're passionate about playing guitar? It all comes down to the myths behind the excuses, because let's face it, when you really want something, you don't come up with excuses, you just do it. So here's 3 common excuses, what's behind them, and how to move beyond them. Topping the list is, I don't have enough time to practice. Well, guess what? That's just simply not true. What's really happening is that you don't make enough time to practice. If you think about that for just a minute, you make time for the things that are important to you, right? So rather than saying you don't have enough time, own up to the fact that you don't make enough time. And if you're truly passionate about playing guitar, then you'll set aside a time to practice and stick to it. Remember, you run your schedule, not the other way around. And you can make your guitar practice happen when you make it your routine. By the way, if you need help mapping out a guitar practice routine, check out my episode, How to Set Up a Practice Routine, which aired on January 26th, 2022. The link is in the show notes. Another common excuse is, I don't feel like practicing. Feeling or not feeling like practicing comes solely from motivation. If you're not feeling motivated, then step back and take a look at things. Think about when you first began playing guitar. Try to remember why you wanted to play guitar to begin with. Maybe it was because you like a certain artist or music, and you want to play that music. Or maybe it was something like you want to write songs and perform them. Whatever your original motivation was to start playing guitar, revisit that and see if you still feel the same way about playing guitar as you did back then. Taking it a step further, to reignite your guitar playing fire, pull out some of the first songs you learned how to play. Take yourself back to how these songs felt back then. Look at what makes playing guitar exciting to you. You'll feel like practicing when you love what you're playing. And motivation or lack of motivation can simply just be a matter of not feeling very inspired. And then there's the excuse, I'm too tired to practice. Let's face it, we all have demands on our time and busy schedules. But when it comes to fatigue and guitar practice, if you dig deep, you will discover it really comes down to inspiration. When you're excited about playing something, it won't matter if you're physically or mentally tired. You'll still want to play. For example, when I first learned to play guitar, I was teaching elementary school and I had 3 young children ages 4, 6, and 10. As you can imagine, I was tired and didn't have a lot of extra time to practice. But I was so excited to learn to play the chords, strumming, and songs that I managed to play quite a bit. Don't get me wrong, I didn't slack on my duties. I just found creative ways to fit practice time into my schedule. I used it as a teaching tool in my classroom with things like the weather or math. And at home, I'd practice while my kids were splashing around in the bathtub. There I'd sit with my music and my guitar, playing songs for them. And I have to tell you, it's one of my fondest memories. But the thing is, I was excited to play, so I wanted to play guitar no matter how tired I felt. I like this quote by Dutch speaker Alexander Den Heijer. You often feel tired not because you've done too much, but because you've done too little of what sparks a light in you. So if you find you're making excuses for your lack of practicing, then it's time to investigate how you're truly feeling about playing guitar and the ways to bring the joy of practicing back into your life. I hope this episode's tip has helped you to continue expanding your guitar playing skills and knowledge. If you'd like to learn more, please check out the many learning resources available at marlenesmusic.com. Thank you for joining today's podcast, and as I like to say, play on.